On page 42 in your book, there's a problem that begins, Corey is purchasing a property for $550,000 with an assessed value of 95%. The tax rate is $1.60, closing on September 3rd. What is the tax proration entry if taxes have not been paid by seller? So again, you're looking at the markers on this problem. We're giving you a lot of information. You have to figure out how to digest it. I want to figure out how much the taxes are. So I'm going to take the purchase price, and the problem told me that the assessed value was 95% of that. So I'm just going to follow the rule. Purchase price, in this case, times 95%. That means that the assessed value of that property is $522,500. Assessed value. Now that I have my assessed value, I can figure out my taxes. $522,500 divided by 100, and then times the tax rate, again given in the problem, $1.60 in this case, $1.60 per 100. And so now I'm just simply going to go to the calculator and trust my calculator, times $1.60. So taxes for the year are $8,360 for the year. That's awesome, but I need to figure out how much they are per day. So I follow my rule. 8,360 divided by 360 equals $23.22. And again, if you round to at least 2 digits, your answer should be close enough that it's not going to throw you off on any of the other potential answers. So 23.22 is what I came up to on mine. Okay, now I'm going to draw my timeline. Ooh, this one's tricky. Taxes were due on September 1st, but the seller didn't pay them. And now we're at the closing table. And the attorney says, well, what do I do? How about if I just take from the parties and pay the tax office? Because this is that case where it's after September 1st, technically the taxes should have been paid. They are not. So the attorney can collect from both, pay the tax office. I can go ahead and figure over here, it's going to be debit buyer, debit seller. Now, weirdly enough, in this case, because it's a double debit, the numbers are not going to match. The sellers is usually going to be pretty big. The buyers will be relatively small comparatively. Remember earlier on the practice problem, I told you when I have this situation, I always solve the buyers first. The reason I do is because it's a shorter time and it minimizes rounding errors if you do that. So if it's closing on September 1st, now we've got December, we have November, we have October, so that's 30, 30, 30, and then it's closing on the 3rd, so there's 27 days in September not used yet. You make sure that's right. December, November, October, 27, and remember the 30-day rule, okay? All months have 30 days in this class. So we now know it's 117 days times 23.22 per day, 22 per day, is $2,717 to the buyer. Let me check my math on that again. I'm not sure if I hit the right number. I got a different number this time, if you don't mind. Let me try that one more time. Oh, I see what I got. This number's close enough. What my calculator did is it rounded it to a whole dollar on that, but that'll be close enough. It will not cause you to miss one on the exam. Now that I know how much the buyer has to pay, and I know how much the taxes were for the year, I can figure out how much the seller has to pay by simply subtracting 2717 from 8360, and that will leave me with, let's see, 8360 minus 2717, 5,643 for the seller to pay. Okay, and again, depending on your rounding, you may be 30 cents or so different from me on that. So the buyer debit, $27.17. Seller debit, $5,643. The attorney will collect from both, and then the attorney will pay the tax office, and that's how you do that scenario right there. Okay?